My name is Luis Macquarie.
My name is Vince Tasso.
And I'm Gus Colasuano.
And this is our project on the situation in Iran. The current situation in Iran is this. Iran has gone against the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty of 1968 and it started a uranium enrichment program. Iran claims it's being used for civilian energy, but there's a possibility of it being used for nuclear weapons. Iran has allegedly supported both Hezbollah and Hamas, two internationally recognized terrorist groups. Both the UN and the US have imposed financial sanctions on Iran, and the UN has referred the situation to the UNSC, who has passed two resolutions, to which Iran has not followed. They haven't stopped. All permanent members of the UNSC have declared their position against the Iranian nuclear program, including Russia and China, which is strange because Russia has supplied them with a light water reactor for civilian energy and have supplied them with missiles to protect them. And China is very dependent on Iran's oil. The International Atomic Energy Association, their inspections have been denied. The US has just assembled a missile defense system in Israel, Poland, and Czech Republic to defend against a possible Iranian nuclear threat. Iran has no diplomatic representatives in the US. Iran is about 1 to 3 years away from having functional nuclear weapons. They have one functioning nuclear power plant, which they have made themselves. And the UN has offered different programs to set up alternative energy sources, but Iran has not made a response to them.
Some of the history in the situation in Iran is that Iran has a history of conflict and alliances with the West supporting one leader against another when it seemed best. Examples being the plotted arrest of Prime Minister Mossadegh, who nationalized Iranian supplies and went against the ruling Shah. In 1978, Islamic religious leaders with the support of the people carried out the Iranian Revolution, led by Ayatollah Khomeini, a critic of the West. He set up a theocratic government with a constitutional Islamic republic. U.S. relations with Iran have since been stressed. When Iran decided to set up a uranium enrichment program, it was met with international distress. After sanctions were imposed on Iran, its economy deteriorated and now depends mostly on its oil business. And Iran has a huge oil field under its territory, which is almost completely state-controlled. Some of the key players in the situation in Iran are Iran, the United States, the UK, China, Japan, Russia, France, Germany, and Italy, the UN, NATO, and IAEA. Our proposal or plan is that we should commence diplomatic discussions between the United States and Iran over their nuclear program. 2, we should discuss the implementation of a jointly funded U.S.-Iran alternative energy source, possibly an IAEA-supervised light water reactor. In return, Iran must allow an IAEA inspection of their nuclear program and discuss a plan for its termination over an indefinite period of time. 3, after an agreement is met, discuss the lifting of all UN and U.S. sanctions and the possible membership of Iran to the World Trade Organization.
Okay, I'm going to talk about the steps taken by the international community in Iran. First off, the UN has imposed a variety of economic sanctions onto Iran, namely the freezing of certain Iranian agencies and individuals, most of them being involved in the nuclear development program. Secondly, the numerous sanctions have been made by the UN, USA, and the UK separately. No US company is allowed to make an economic transaction with Iran worth more than $20 million US. Efforts have been made to set up a civilian-aimed nuclear program, and Russia has already set up a light water reactor in Iran. As a whole, the international community has appeared to isolate Iran rather than to bring it into the community. Now, on the other hand, steps taken by the United States, apart from not allowing any economic transaction with Iran worth more than $20 million US, no airplane parts from the US are allowed to be sold to Iran. The US has set up a missile defense system in Poland, Czech Republic, and Israel to defend itself, and as a whole has enforced diplomatic pressure on Iran.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you liked our presentation.
Very nice. Well.
Thank you.